Is this thing on?
Welcome back to another episode of Spooled Life Live. I'm your host, Ram Garcia, and we are in beautiful Corpus Christi, Texas. I'm trying to pick up my phone here just to make sure we're live. You know, I always second guess myself. I always think, man, something's going on with the internet, or you know, somebody's planning an attack on Spooled Life Live.
Russia's gonna
you know, even though we got top flight security, you know, down the stairs, we got them over here at the other stairs. We got Diego right here next to us just in case, you know. But nonetheless, Austin Matthews is in the house. Austin Matthews is a diehard Spooled Life Live something. And I need to create a name. Like I used to call them diehards, right? The Spooled Life Live diehards. But I need to create a name for the Spooled Life Live.
Your groupies?
That are like diehard. They're the best. They support. There you go. Junkie's one of them. The Spooled Life Live Junkies, right? But we're in Corpus Christi, Texas. We are officially the Windy City because there has been straight 20 to 30 mile an hour winds for about a good 2 whole months. And it's getting kind of crazy, man. You know, it's starting to affect our fishing adventures a little bit. You know, we do get prepared with the micro poles. We get prepared with the anchor trolleys, motors, right, to help us with the wind. But sometimes you just got to say, what the heck? Stay indoors and jump on Spooled Life Live and learn, right? We got giveaways. We got some top-notch anglers. We got a little bit of everything. But going back to where we're at, beautiful Corpus Christi, Texas. I say this all the time. We're the home of the Selena statue, right? You're not from here. We're also the home of the Lexington, right? We're the home of Kiko's Mexican restaurant, right? Which I think is the best in Corpus. You know, I'm not too much into the taqueria style Mexican food. I'm more like a Tex-Mex mix. You know what I mean? We're the home of Roy's Bait and Tackle, right? Which is your first time here.
It is. This store is extremely impressive.
Right.
It's awesome.
We're the home of Real Sportswear. And now, we're the home of Carbach Brewery, right? You don't have to go to the Houston Astros anymore to enjoy a Carbach Brewery. You could just tune in and Spooled Life Live. And you could also tune in live. We're live, but you could come into the store and watch us live and enjoy a Carbach with us. Where is that? We're at Roy's Bait and Tackle. You know, cruise back about 20 seconds and join us, man. Thank you all for tuning in as well. I have an amazing angler, right? We don't cruise in too much to the fresh side of stuff. You know, it's kind of like a thing going on to where all the guys are wanting to freshwater fish the tournaments and jump into the freshwater tournaments here. Some of the saltwater tournaments are mixing in bass fishing and, you know, get a length of a bass, get a length of a redfish, and we combine them, and the person with the longest length wins, right? So hopefully the guest that we got today will give us some insight on that, right? He's a freshwater competitor. He's a saltwater competitor. He grew up, well, I'm going to let him explain how he grew up and fishing the waterways he fishes, right? So without further ado, we have none other than Jacob Linn in the Spooled Life Live studio. Thank you so much, Jacob, for cruising on in. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Man, it's an honor to be here. First of all, thank you so much for having me. Like you already said, you know, I grew up fishing. Definitely grew up fishing saltwater with my dad and my brother. I'm actually from small town. Well, it's not so small anymore. New Braunfels, Texas, out in the hill country area. I guess so you could say my home lake is Canyon Lake. I now live in the Willis, Texas area, so now I'm near Lake Conroe. I've got a wife and two beautiful little girls that are the light of my world and my support system when I'm out chasing the trail. So I'm very blessed to have them in my life.
Growing up fishing, what waterways did you fish?
Most of the time when we came down, we would go to we come to Corpus Christi. My dad had a real good friend of his, Rick Loveday, that we always went fishing with. And now I believe he's out of Port Mansfield area or Aransas Pass, one of the two. But I know he's pretty close to this area. But yeah, those were the areas that we fished growing up. Mm-hmm. And man, that dude, you ever need a good fishing guide down this area, Rick Loveday.
Rick Loveday?
Rick Loveday.
Rick Loveday.
Yeah, Rick Loveday. I can promise you one thing: if you're not catching fish, you'll be laughing, because that's probably one of the funniest guys I've ever met in my life.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He will not make fun of himself, but he'll definitely make fun of you in your inability to catch fish.
Right.
But it's a great time.
And that's the whole thing. If I was going to jump into a guided trip, I would want, instead of catching fish, okay, that's good, right? We caught fish, right? Mostly the people that get a guide want to catch fish, right? Mm-hmm. But if you could bring an aspect of adventure, so call it, maybe, just having a good time with your guide, not just a guide that just shows up and he's just antisocial, and doesn't want to talk and is pissed off because nobody's catching fish, and man, you didn't set the hook when I told you to set the hook, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So Rick Loveday is the man to go to. Or you could go and hit up one of my good buddies, Jesse Torres. He's also part of the Royce team. And he'll get you set up on some pretty good fish, too. Where were you? You said you were from the Valley area?
No, I'm not. My mother is from the Valley area. Her family, my mom was actually born in San Juan, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then she's still got a bunch of family down there.
Yeah, that's the Valley area.
Oh, yeah. We go down there quite a bit.
That's where you were born, too?
No, I was born in New Braunfels, Texas.
Oh, okay, I got you.
New Braunfels, Texas, which is the hill country.
Yeah.
Right over there by San Antonio.
Okay. When did you, at what point did you say, you know what, I'm good fishing, the recreational fishing style, I want to start tournament fishing?
So that's actually kind of a funny story. I was laying in bed one night, and my wife was watching the show, so I'm sure if I say this wrong, she'll correct me very quickly. But I was dead set on getting a glitter rocket, a bass boat. And she was like, no, you're not getting a bass boat. And I was like, okay, well, how about a kayak? So I, being my typical self, looked for the most decked out, rigged out kayak I could find. And started kind of looking up, how to fish tournaments and get, really challenge myself instead of just fishing recreationally like I was used to. And I got involved with a group called Southeast Texas Kayak Bass League, which is run by Chris Morales and Chris Delgado, two really good guys. And that's how I actually started with tournament fishing, was with those guys. Mm-hmm. And then I decided to take it to the next level. And nothing wrong with fishing the local trail. It's awesome. But I kind of wanted to really get out there and explore a bunch of different waterways. So now I chase the Bassmaster Kayak Series trail. Okay. And it's a blast, man. It's a really good trail to be on.
How far have you gone in tournaments?
Right now, the furthest I've gone for a kayak tournament is Florida, to the Harris Chain of Lakes.
Okay. And that was a bass tournament?
Yes, that was a bass tournament.
These bass tournaments, have you ever fished any saltwater tournament?
No, I haven't really fished any saltwater tournaments. None. I mean, I think I did a few when I was growing up with my dad, but other than that, I think no, I haven't. No.
The tournaments that are in Texas and the tournaments that are in Florida, how does the angler change?
Man, I don't really see a difference in the angler. I mean, the water changes. I mean, the Harris Chain of Lakes, that is like probably one of the coolest bodies of water I have ever been on.
Oh, really?
Everything's connected through locks and canals, and you'll have a huge, massive body of water right here, then you'll have a little tiny channel that connects these two other bodies of water to it. It's really, really cool. But, I mean, all the anglers were super good guys. I mean, it was kind of – the Harris Chain was a heavily grass – there's a lot of grass in that lake. or lake system. The main lake that me and Levis, my good fishing buddy, the Havoc fishing team member, fished was Griffin. No, not Griffin. I can't remember the name of the lake, but we fished that and Horseshoe and a couple other lakes. But I mean, the Harris Chain of Lakes is a massive, massive system. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the anglers, as far as from Texas to Florida, same good guys, you know,
right.
Ladies. I mean, everybody is super polite, super nice. I mean, I have no complaints about anybody over there.
What about the tournaments themselves? Do you see a difference in the way the Texas tournaments are ran opposed from a Florida tournament?
No, so Bassmaster is run by John Stewart. He's a great tournament director. He, you know, makes sure everything's taken care of. You know, when you're running a national tournament trail versus a local tournament trail, you know, the one thing I'll say about the Southeast Texas guys is you will not find a closer knit group of guys when it comes to tournament fishing. I mean, yeah, you're all competing for the money and for the prize and everything, but I mean, the night before the tournament, everybody's having a good time, you know, hanging out, you know, drinking some beers together. Then after the tournament, you've got Chris Delgado, who might be a little bit taller than this counter, but he's one of the funniest guys I've ever met. He does the awards ceremony. He makes it a really good time. So not only do you get to fish a great tournament, you get to have a lot of good times and a lot of good laughs with that tournament.
Right.
So that is one difference I will say you see fishing a national trail versus fishing a local trail. The local trail, you have that camaraderie and that brotherhood. Mm-hmm. So that's something I do definitely miss.
Right. Yeah, that's a big deal. The tournaments around here, which we have a pretty big one, is the PRL, Professional Redfish League Tournament. Coming up next week is the first leg, actually. And it's small, man. You know, the anglers, right? The tournament's big. The anglers are small. We all know each other by our first names. You know, everybody knows your Instagram handle. Everybody knows your Facebook name, you know. And, of course, at the beginning of all these tournaments, you know, everybody's cool. And, you know, like I said, more than likely everybody's drinking Carbach. You know what I mean? I mean, what else?
What else would you drink?
What else would you drink, right?
Golly.
And but the day of tournament, man, nobody's friends no more.
No, it's game day.
You know what I mean? They're looking. You know, everybody's looking. Everybody's your friend the day before, but the day after, everybody's looking like, man, well, what is he doing wrong, right? How is he bending the rules? Maybe, you know what I mean? What rules can he possibly bend? Instead of just worrying about your fish, you know, go try to catch the damn fish. You know what I mean? Don't worry about anybody else. That's why there's lie detectors in place. You know, that's why there's rules in place. Focus on the prize, right? Not focus on the other anglers. You know what I mean?
I think everybody's kind of guilty of seeing what the other anglers up to. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You know, if you're over there fishing in a cove and you hear, you know, old boy behind you pulling, ripping lips, and you're like, man, what is that guy doing over there? I mean, yeah. And you see him cast, you're like, oh, let me see what color he's throwing. You know, you're trying to look over there, but
yeah, right.
I mean, and my wife gets on to me all the time because I get real frustrated. I'll get upset, and she'll tell me all the time, honey, just go fish. Right. You're just fishing, just fish.
Because we think our base systems is small, right? You hold a tournament here in Corpus, and you're like, dude, who am I gonna see at this spot? But when you're bass, I have no idea, right? Because I've never bassed fish in my life. Maybe I have, maybe in some stream or something, right? I might have not caught anything, but I was attempting to, right?
It'll change your life.
So on this bass tournament, you're in a lake. So that even closes these areas in even more, right?
You'd be surprised, man. I mean, there's some lakes, like we just fished Grand Lake in Oklahoma. That lake is stupid big. I mean, it took us, when we were looking for where we were going to launch, me and Levis loaded up in my truck and we were driving around looking. It took us an hour and 20 minutes to get from where we were staying to one of the places we wanted to go look at. I mean, that's how big that lake is. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, some of these lakes are monstrous. And then, I mean, like when we fished the Harris Chain, you know, we ran into Christine Fisher and Guillermo. I mean, there was Christine Fisher and her, you know, she had her Hobie and she's pulling, you know, she had her 1103 Torpedo, pulling Guillermo behind. But, you know, come tournament day, I mean, I didn't see them out there, and, you know, but there's a bunch of water you can cover. It does. You're not really, you are limited to a lake, but you'll be surprised how big that lake is, especially when you're in a kayak.
Sometimes you might not see anybody all day long.
I normally see somebody, but yeah, you normally see somebody, but you probably go hours in between running.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you'll go a while. I mean, but you know, if you're fishing a smaller body of water, like I know Southeast Texas, they had a tournament on Nacogdoches today, Lake Nacogdoches. That's not a very big body of water. You're definitely going to see other anglers out there. It's inevitable. And Nacogdoches only has one boat ramp. So you're going to see everybody. I mean, the trash talk is going to commence before you even get your kayak in the water.
Right.
But, yeah, so there's some lakes that you'll run into a bunch of people, and there's some lakes you won't see a single soul.
Yeah.
It just depends on the lake.
Well, that brings us to our next question is tournament etiquette, right? At these tournaments, we've all seen it, right? If you're a tournament angler, you've seen some sort of drama, right?
Oh, yeah.
How is it on the freshwater side? You know, from the way you're talking is the freshwater guys, and nothing against freshwater guys, right?
Oh, here we go.
Don't take this the wrong way. Don't go delete me from y'all's Instagram pages and your Facebook pages, right? Don't block me from anything. But it sounds like they're a bunch of good guys. Like if you see somebody, we're in a lake, we're all launching. Hey, Ram's coming towards this way. You know what is that like? Is it like, hey, you know what, hey, no, you know, or is it like, hey, you know what,
man,
come on in, let's.
I'll be blunt about this one. Every angler is different. Every angler sees it in his own way or in her own way, and excuse me. But my main thing is we're all out there to fish and have a good time. If I'm fishing in an area and you come cruising up, man, there's enough water for both of us. I mean, just because I throw my lure in that one specific area doesn't mean I'm going to catch a fish. You might come behind me with what that fish wants and catch that fish. Right. I mean, I can't make that fish bite. So it's selfish and rude of me to say, no, you can't fish over here. Now, if you come up and just straight cut me off when I'm coming down a bank line, that's another story. That's a little unprofessional and rude. But I think if everybody's adults out there and say, hey, do you mind if I fish behind you or fish near you? I don't have a problem with that, man. I mean, we're all out here to have a good time. Yeah, we are competing against each other. And at the end of the day, I do want to take your money from you.
Yeah, you want to win. That's the whole point.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, I'm a firm believer in, karma. Do the right thing, and, it'll come back to you.
Right.
You do some shady stuff, it'll come back to you, too.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you know what? Let's drink to tournament etiquette. And today, guys, as usual, right, we're drinking Carbach Brewery, and we're drinking the new spicy mango. And you can get these at pretty much anywhere you're at. H-E-B, Super S, B&J's Pizza. Where else? 7-Eleven.
Roy's Bait and Tackle.
Roy's Bait and Tackle about every other week. Right? Yeah. Tournament etiquette.
Tournament etiquette.
If y'all are drinking, guys, hopefully y'all are drinking Carbach. This is to tournament etiquette.
Amen.
All right. So let's keep going. Upcoming anglers that want to be freshwater guys, right? There has to be, if you ever want to get your name out there, right? We've all, I don't even think it's easy anymore to get your name where all these other top anglers are, I think, right? The older guys, you know what I mean? The older guys, there wasn't no media, there wasn't no Facebook, very little Facebook, very little Instagram. It was probably like the MySpace age, you know what I mean? And it wasn't so hard to contact the company and talk to somebody, talk to the owner of the company. Now you want to talk to somebody and you're talking to a secretary, or you're talking to somebody that's dedicated to just talking to the pro team guys, or that want to be a pro team guy. You have to have some sort of something that sets you apart from everybody else. You don't have to be the best. You just got to be a little bit better than the worst, right? To create a name for yourself. What do you think, or what are some ideas you could give somebody that's wanting to jump into the tournament scene for freshwater?
Man, in all honesty, so there are a ton of anglers out there. There's a bunch of sponsors out there, and if you want to jump into tournaments, just fish. I mean, just go out there and fish. What happens happens. I mean, I've been fishing. I'm sponsored, and I've had days that I've skunked, and
Right.
I've had days that I've done amazingly. Like when I fished the Harris chain, my first fish of that day was like a 7 or 8 pounder. I mean, 22 and a quarter. I mean, and it was there. So you're gonna have your good days, you're gonna have your bad days. And when it comes to sponsors and pro staff and all that other stuff, yeah, you know, back when Roland Martin, Jimmy Houston, and all these other guys were fishing freshwater and, you know, really bringing it to light, there wasn't, you know, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all this other stuff that you had, all this social media pressure. So I would say for somebody who is going to tournament fish and you're looking at becoming potentially sponsored, get out there, mainly have a good time. You know, get some pictures of your fish, get some pictures of you out there, you know, banging it out, you know, grinding it out, doing what you got to do. And then reach out to these guys. I mean, just send them an email, say, hey, you know, I'm interested, you know, what do I need to do, you know, to become on your pro staff, or find other anglers that are on their pro staffs and say, hey, what do I need to do to become a part of this team? I mean, I'll be 100% honest. When it comes to 6 Cents, I mean, like I said, I'm with 6 Cents, and the way that I actually got with 6 Cents is one of my very good friends, Kyler Ferris, knows the owner of 6 Cents, and he said, "Hey, are y'all working with any kayak guys or something along that line?" And that's how I got introduced to 6 Cents, and it's a great group to be partnering with. I mean, the guy who runs all their pro staff, Zach Knart. I mean, if I ever need anything, man, it's a text message or a phone call, and he hooks me up with whatever I need. I mean, a solid group of people to work with, and it's you know, anybody can do it. You just have to network, you know, meet the right people. And when you're at a boat ramp and you've had a bad day, and get out there, just go talk to people, because you never know, man. You don't know who's with who knows who.
You don't know who you're talking to.
You have no clue who
or
you're
you don't know
talking
who
to.
you're going to piss off
Yeah.
as well, right?
I mean, that's why I'm a firm believer. Like, you get to the boat ramp, you see other anglers, you know, say hi, say what's up, talk to them. I mean, don't be a jerk. Try to, you know, be professional. And then, man, when you do hit it big, and when you do become famous, and when you are, you know, making millions of dollars fishing, remember where you came from.
Yeah.
Remember where you came from.
Remember that you were on Spooled Life Live at one time,
I mean, you'd be with me the
which
whole
is
time.
a huge accomplishment
Oh yeah,
to
massive.
begin with, right? We have Jeremy Baker in the house. Lindsay Ray.
That's
Jeremy
my
Baker
wife.
says, Jacob can't take my money.
Now,
Is he a competitor? Freshwater competitor?
Yeah, Jeremy's a friend. He's a stick. He's an angler. Good guy.
Drew Turner is also in the house. It was the old TKF forum days. That was back when it was just all writing. You know, that was when you couldn't. I guess you could put a couple pictures in there, but it was like a live streaming blog style. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Drew Turner's good people too, as well. Is the Paddler's Playbook.
Yeah, Drew lives like right down the street from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably 15 minutes away from me.
Drew Turner?
Drew Turner.
I thought
Paddler's
you
Playbook.
In the valley. You're in Houston area now.
No. We live in Willis.
Oh,
which is
okay.
just north of Houston. Conroe,
Okay, I got
Lake
you.
Conroe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my mom's family is from the valley.
Oh,
so we go down to the valley.
See, I'm gonna
quite a
have to
bit.
go all the way back and hear this story again.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom's from San Juan, and my uncle and a bunch of my family's still down there.
Yeah. Good dudes at Paddler's Playbook. If y'all haven't checked them out, that's some good stuff over there. But we've got into a special part of the show that I know all of y'all just love, right? And I love too, because I love to give stuff away, right? We got all this stuff here that's just ready to be given away to a special person. So this is what I got. New company coming out. You can buy it here at Roy's Bait and Tackle. It's called Mullet Man Bait Co. Right? We got these caps. We're going to give away that cap. It was given to us from Mullet Man, right? We got this cool stringer, grind.com stringer. 16 feet, just in case you need that extra room to bring in a little bit more fish, right?
A lot of fish.
We got a koozie from Mansfield Knockers, another company here at Roy's Bait and Tackle, to cruise in and check them out. Pretty cool looking. I think that's like more of a custom top water deal, right? And I always have a bad habit of, did you see me already just coming back from the mic? So y'all remind me just to push myself to come back up to the front here. But I got this Mullet Man tee, right? Pretty cool looking stuff. We're going to give it away to one person. And it might take a little bit. If it doesn't take a little bit, and somebody can answer this fairly quickly, that's going to be pretty impressive. So the first person to tell me how many episodes we've had here at Spooled Life Live will win this stuff. Stuff from Mullet Man, Grind Stringers, and Mansfield Knockers. First person to tell me how many episodes we've had here at Spooled Life Live. I guess you could include this one. If you include this one or the past ones, it is not 9. It's close though. Maybe add like 10 more, but it's definitely a good try, Mr. Baker. First person, guys, we're gonna keep going. 12? No, it is not 12. It is not 11. We're gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep an eye over here. If I don't say it, well, now we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop right here. My man, Mr. Baker, Jeremy Baker is the winner. We've had 20 episodes so far of Spooled Life Live, and my man Jacob Linn is number 21. Lucky 21, man.
Lucky 21.
You might want to go buy a lottery ticket or something. You might do good with your luck today.
I know.
Right? Jeremy Baker, slide into my DMs, man, and get me your address, and we'll get this stuff headed to you at a high rate of speed. So let's keep going, man. From Texas, where else do you go? Louisiana for tournaments, Louisiana, Florida, Oklahoma, right? You were in Oklahoma the other day. We spoke to each other. The lures, you know, I'm gonna give you all a little hint of what's coming up in a little bit, so stay tuned. The lures that were in the box we looked at earlier, right? There is a variety of lures. When you fish from Texas, let's just say Oklahoma, let's just say Florida, do you take the same style of lure, or do you take, you know what, I'm going to Florida, I'm just gonna leave these at the house because they don't work in Florida?
Man, I'm real bad. I will take a pretty much Roy's Bait and Tackle in my truck. I have everything with me. Now, I'll decide on what I'm going to be throwing once I get there based upon my research that I've done. You know, I'll go look at water clarity. My first day of pre-fish is really just pretty much experimenting. What's going to work,
right,
what's not going to work. So, yeah, I mean, I usually take an arsenal with me, but I've got my go-tos that I always fall back on, that you just sometimes with a different state, different water clarity, you know, whatever they want, change the color up sometimes, change the presentation a little bit. I mean, I love throwing a jig. Harris chain was a jerkbait bite. Grand Lake was a chatterbait bite. So,
oh really?
Yeah, and the Harris chain, man, Grand Lake, when we fished that lake, the wind was absolutely it was like outside.
Oh really?
I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. Me and Levis found a cove, and we just told each other, all right, tournament day, that's where we're going, because it'll be protected from the wind. and we just fished that. You know, it was a massive cove, so we just tore that cove up all day long. And you know, there, as time went on, other people started figuring out, okay, that cove's wind protected. So then we started getting other anglers meeting up with us over there, and yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we had some, you know, Brad Case showed up, some other guys showed up. Yeah, it was, everybody kind of paid a little tribute to that cove.
I know some of the names, right, of baits. I don't know what they do or anything, but I know like the chatter bait, the spinner bait, our topwater bait, which Freshwater has a topwater, you know, twitch, pause kind of style bait. The chatter baits, how do you work that type of bait?
That's just a bait that when I cast it out, I'll just reel it back in. Sometimes I'll slow it down, but it's that blade that's just sitting there and vibrating and making all that ruckus in the water, and that's really, sometimes, you know, if you burn it over grass, it really depends on the presentation that they're looking for. If they're looking for something fast, or if they're looking for something real slow, you know, depending.
See, it's basically a topwater. You could pause and let it fall
but
deep.
It's submerged. It's not. I mean, it's not on top of the water. It's definitely submerged. Now, if you start burning it, you can probably bring it up the water column.
Right.
But I mean, my favorite topwater bait to throw would either be a frog or like the 6 cents catwalk. You know, just like a spook, pretty much. So that's my favorite topwater.
Okay. Those baits work in Texas. What's your staple bait? I'm gonna take this bait everywhere I go. I don't care where I'm at.
Texas rig.
Texas rig.
Texas rig with a hog wallah.
Okay. You'll even take a Texas rig to Florida.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of doesn't sound right, but it works.
When you're throwing this Texas rig, do any of those Florida people at any time are they like, oh my God, this guy is throwing a Texas rig?
Yeah, you know, they frown upon that.
We don't even want to go fish at his spot.
Yeah, they think we're dumb, us Texans.
Dogma? What about a dogma? 6 cents dogma?
So you have the catwalk, and then you have the dogma. The dogma's a little bit bigger.
Okay.
So I prefer the catwalk. That's just my personal preference. It does not mean there's anything wrong with the other ones. Because I can get it in some tighter spots when casting, because it's a little bit smaller. The dogma is like huge, but it is a very, very effective bone pearl. That's the top water color of my choice.
I like that. I like that color for the salt as well. Bone back pearl. Like a silver bottom with a bone back.
This one, the bone is
like a chromish.
Yeah, color. This one is straight bone all the way around.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my go-to when it comes to topwater.
Right. And all of these 6 cents baits, guys, you could get them here at Roy's Bait and Tackle. We got a huge selection here at Roy's Bait and Tackle. So cruise in if you're gonna attempt to freshwater fish, if you're gonna attempt to saltwater fish. Right there, they're pretty good baits, right? So let's do a gear breakdown. Right. When throwing these baits, here in the salt, what I do, right? It's hard to, you really don't have to, okay, I'm going to take these light rods instead of these heavy rods. What do you take to these freshwater adventures of yours?
Well, my top water, like if I'm throwing a frog, that's obviously going to be on a heavy or an extra heavy, depending on what kind of cover I'm throwing into. It's going to be on a fast reel, usually an 8-to-1, and all my reels are Kistler reels. Then I usually go 7.2 to 7.4 for a cranking rod, and then I'll use about a 7.3 gear ratio. If I'm deep cranking, I'll drop my gear ratio. Obviously go to a little bit heavier rod. You know, I'm throwing a jerk bait, I'll go to something like a 6.10 medium. You know, just depends on the presentation that I'm going to be putting up. It's like, and also, you know, there's tournaments I'll have, 10 rods on my boat, and that's an exaggeration, or kayak, excuse me. But I'll have 10 rods on there, and I'll throw one all day long because that's what they want. But I'll have the other ones there lined up, ready in case I need them.
I was about to say something about that. When you see a redfish, trout, right, saltwater tournament guy, he may have 4 rods with him, right? I carry about 3. I'm trying to start carrying like 2 but I say max 4. When you see a bass guy, he's got like 10 rods or more than 5 at least. Is that, I used to be like that, right? Is that because you don't want to retie? You'll have a crankbait, you'll have a chatterbait, you'll have a frog, you'll have a Texas rig, just set up already, ready to go.
It's definitely for time efficiency. That's a big thing. I mean, no, I don't honestly want to mess with retying on the water. Now, if I'm working a bait, like, okay, so let's use Harris chain for example. I was working a jerkbait. I mean, and we worked jerk baits over submerged grass. That's what I found, and we found that was working to be the key bait. I would catch a fish or two, and then I would retie because I didn't want my knot to break or anything like that.
Right.
Whenever I was fighting the next donkey that I was going to reel in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I will retie if I have to, but most of the time, if I have a bunch of stuff with me in my pea-sized brain, I'm thinking, okay, well, everything's ready to go. I don't have to do anything.
What are some of the best catches you've had in these bass tournaments, or just fishing in general? Right, it doesn't have to just be bass tournaments.
I've caught some toads, man, and it never fails. I always catch these monsters in pre-fish.
Oh, really?
You'll go out there, and you're not even trying to catch them, and you'll. And I'm just gonna use a 10-pounder for example. You'll land a 10-pounder, and you're freaking out like, oh my God, taking pictures with it. You're like, okay, you put it back. Like, okay, go back to your home. I'll see you tomorrow, tournament day.
Right, stay right here.
Yeah, you go back and the tournament day, and you throw your arsenal at it, and it's just like, no, dude, I ain't eating that again. Like, nice try. But I think the biggest bass that I've caught so far this year in a tournament was my first fish in Harris chain. It was a 7 or 8 pounder. I didn't get a true weight on it, but it was 22 1/4, and it was crazy. I got into where I was fishing. I cast that jerkbait out, and I twitched it, and it just stopped. And I was like, dadgummit, I'm hung up already. This is how this day is going to go. And then I look, and I just see my line swimming off, and I'm like, oh, that's a fish. So I, set the hook, and it started jumping and splashing. Then I start freaking out. I'm like, oh, this is a big bass. So literally had like my entire rod in the water trying to keep it, from jumping and spitting the lure. So it was a good time, good catch.
Have you ever been cruising out there and run over an alligator or something?
I have not hit any alligators. Now my father-in-law he did hit an alligator on Lake Conroe in his bass buggy is what he calls it. It's a little pelican boat. I mean, I think it's 10 or 12 foot, and he has a little trolling motor on the back of it, and he said he ran right over it. Now I've seen them. I mean, and they the little ones, they're curious. They'll come up and check you out.
Right.
And as long as the mamas are like sitting on the shoreline, I'm fine. Mm-hmm. But if I see them start coming like anywhere near me, man, that motor on the back of that kayak will go into high gear. I don't care how big that bass is. I'm trying to get them out.
Let's talk about the motor for a little bit. Obviously, it's becoming some sort of a pandemic. The motor scene in kayaks. Tournaments are starting to allow them here on our side, and obviously on the freshwater side. How do you feel it does? Everybody says, oh, it's a game changer, right? It's a game changer this, it's a game changer that. Do you think it's a real game changer, the motor? Yeah, you could go faster, you could go farther, but is it really changing the game?
That term is so overused. I mean, I think it allows you to cover more water. Because if you think about it, if you take a bass boat, glitter rocket, whatever you want to call it, and he's out and he goes to a cove and he's like, oh, shoot, this is a bust, I'm out. Well, he's got a 250 Mercury on the back or Yamaha, whatever he's running, and he's gone to the next cove.
Yeah.
Us, you're just pedaling, going. But now that we have the opportunity to have a motor, and yeah, you're not going to get on, well, I mean, if you got that, torque. I run a Newport NK 180S. And it averages, I've had it up to about 5.5, and that was with the wind at my back. And I can cover a lot of water with it. But I know Torpedo has one, the 1103. That sucker, you pretty much get on plane. That's pretty impressive. But I think with the motor, I don't know if it's a true necessity, but it is a huge advantage. you know, to take out there. Okay, this cove's a bust. Let me go find and explore some new water. And, you know, instead of wearing yourself out, you know, you can turn your motor on. You know, you're heading due north or whatever. You can retie, you know, whatever you need to do and keep moving. But, yeah, I mean, I think it is a big advantage. I think it's a game changer, so to say, because you're allowing kayakers to have the same, somewhat of the same advantage as a bass boat. You know, you can move along, you can cover more water. I mean, if you look at some of these guys like Gene Jensen on YouTube and stuff, you know, he runs an XI3 on the front of his kayak, and he'll put up how much water he covers on a day, and it's insane how much.
Really?
It's insane how much water he'll cover. And now, for me personally, once I identify where I'm going to fish for a tournament or whatever I'm doing, I'm going to, unless it's a complete bust, like I'm just not catching nothing, I'm going to, if it slows down or whatever, I'm going to try to figure it out to get them fired back up and get them going. But I think motors in the kayak realm is a good thing.
It's good.
I do. I mean, it's, if you look at live scope and active target and all that other stuff, same thing.
What size battery do you use on your motor?
So I actually have two 50 amp hour FPVs that are running series for my boat.
So 100 amp hour? That's what I run.
Yeah, it's, I guess it's 100 amp, whatever you call it. Yeah, 50 and 50 is 100. Yeah, I'm not the brightest bulb in the chandelier.
Right.
Yeah.
You're a bass fisherman.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. That's what I run is the FPV 100 amp hour, waterproof, bad to the bone. We have some, man, you could get them now like down to 13 pounds. You know, 13 pounds, 14, 20 pounds. You know, you don't have to, it's not like it used to be where you would just haul around a car battery, you know what I mean, and plug it in and hope for the best.
It's insane how light they are. I mean, I know with mine, we put it in a Pelican case. And me and my buddy Brent Lewis is actually the mastermind behind it all. We call it the nuclear football because it looks like, you know, the president's nuclear briefcase that he carries around or whatever. And open it up, and there's two. I mean, it's a pretty awesome setup, and that goes underneath my seat.
Right.
And then I run my wire up to it.
Yeah. Jeremy Baker uses a 24 volt, 50 amp hour, 22 pounds. So they're super light, man. You know, some are still heavy. You know, I'm not sure the classes. I think they run like by classes or something. I'm not even sure what the names are. But I like it, right? I do go faster. I could cover more ground, you know. I'm fishing with my buddy, and I could leave him a mile behind me.
Or pull him.
And just that is cool alone, you know. I get to the spot faster, right? It makes good content, right? Looking back there and seeing your motor hauling ass, you know. But I don't know. You know, the tournaments are starting to get them. The guys that don't get the motors, of course, are mad, right? Because, man, well, it's not fair to have a motor. You know, but that's how it started. When I first got my pedal drive kayak, all the paddle guys were pissed off that, hey, well, that's not fair. You know, in this tournament, are you going to allow pedal drives? You know, now it's, well, are you going to allow motors? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I know I haven't really met anybody who's like gotten mad at me for having a motor, but I've definitely seen some frustration and people like, oh yeah, you can cover all this, that, and the other. But it's like, I mean, as more motors have come out, they're gonna hit friendlier price points. So,
right. I
mean, if you go on YouTube or whatever, you can see some of these DIY guys.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've got a buddy of mine, JD Cooley. Man, he built his own motor and everything, and he did a great job with it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, and that dude is. I mean, what he did is pretty impressive. And another buddy of mine, Jeff, he built his own motor. So you don't have to go buy a top of the line motor. But I am the most unmechanically inclined person on the face of the planet. I fixed my sprinkler system yesterday, man, and it was a huge accomplishment.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it was almost like coming on here.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, so I told you yesterday my wife got promoted at work.
Yeah.
And, we went out
Congratulations to her, by
Oh, yeah, congratulations, babe. I mean, if there's anybody who deserves it, she deserves it. Like, it's ridiculous how hard that woman works. She puts me to shame. But, I fixed that sprinkler system. Man, that was like, I did it. And I was trying to FaceTime my wife and show her, like, look what I did. And she was like, good job, babe. You finally did something.
Let's go celebrate.
Yeah. So
forget your promotion. We're celebrating this sprinkler system.
Well, it was a joint promotion.
Yeah.
It was the sprinkler system and the promotion at work.
See, my thing is, I don't want to do it. I don't want to have to do anything. I want to get it out of the box, and I want to put it on my kayak, and I want to go. I don't want to have to cut it down. I don't want to have to get a custom built adapter plate. I don't want to have to reconstruct the back end of my kayak. I want it to be, you're spending all this money. I want it to be ready out of the box. And I got a full review coming out, and it's going to be on the Texas Power Paddle. It's going to be on the Yakfish Pro Gear Pro Kit, and it's going to be on the 1103 Torpedo motor. There's a lot of things that aren't said, right? Most of your guys that you see these reviews from are sponsored kayakers, and they're going to tell you what's good. They're going to tell you the good stuff. They don't want you to know the bad stuff. They're scared. They're scared of getting dropped by their sponsors, of course, right? Which I get, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm not, right? So I'm going to tell you a no holds barred review on these motors that I've used, and I think it's something that needs to come out, because it's a huge, it's a lot of money, man. It's not a fishing reel. It's not a rod where, I'll use it as my topwater. It just didn't throw lures like I wanted it. I'll use it for a topwater bait, right? This is something, if it don't work, guess what? Or if you don't like it, you're stuck with it, so.
I agree with you. I mean, there's a good amount of money that's got to go into it, and I am not sponsored by Newport. I got Newport because it's, I heard good things about the motor from guys that I know that run Newport, and I will say this, that I have beat the piss out of that motor. I mean, I fished Lake Palestine, and all I did was hit stumps with it. I mean, just kapaya, kapaya, kapaya. I mean, continuously.
And this is all in freshwater.
Yeah, it's all in freshwater.
Okay. See, I've heard some things. That motor, right? We're not Newport. I know you're watching, right? Right. If you are, don't go delete me, right? Don't reconsider you adding my friend request, right? But I've heard some stuff on the Newport that how can I put this?
Real.
Right.
Be real and raw.
Or you know what? Y'all are going to have to wait, right? Let's just wait for the review.
Oh, yeah.
I might add it, right? That might be added to the review. So let's just hold on for that one second.
I will say this. In my opinion, Newport makes a phenomenal motor. Mm-hmm. I've like I said, I've beat the piss out of that thing. It hasn't stopped. So it's a great motor in freshwater. Right. I don't have any experience with it in saltwater, so I can't attest to that. But if you're looking for a freshwater motor, Newport is good.
What other motors did you use before Newport?
None. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I lied. I had the XI3 on my Hobie, but I did not like that because, and again, personal preference, the way that when the XI3 sat on the front of my Hobie, it pulled the bow down. So if I got into rough water, the bow didn't give.
Oh, okay.
So that water would crash over.
Yeah.
So
you leave that hatch open, you're taking in water.
It doesn't even matter, man. I mean, if it comes in and then it gets in those raw tubes, I mean, if it gets in rough enough water.
Oh, this was a front-mounted motor.
Yeah, it was on the front of my Hobie.
Okay.
And it was great. I had spot lock. I had awesome things. But personal preference, I didn't really have that, warm, tingly, fuzzy feeling if I got into some rough water. I've been into some gnarly water with that Newport, and it's done phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I got into some rough water with the XI3, and the motor itself did great getting me back to shore and getting me back to where I needed to go to. But, when you have a wave come, you come over that wave, you want to have a little bit of give so you don't take all that water on.
Yeah, it needs to be balanced. Your kayak needs to be balanced for sure. Jeremy Baker says, bro, you need a shirt that says, don't delete me, bro.
I think he's talking to you on that one.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be a good one. As long as it sells, we'll make it happen.
You could put it like right up here in the front, like don't delete us.
Yeah, we'll just get our own like little aisle.
Yeah.
Nothing of Spooled Life live stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you know what? All this talk about motors and stuff just got me in a good mood. You know? I'm always in a good mood here, you know? And you know what else I'm not scared of? Is giving away stuff. So let's see what Jeremy Linn has brought us to give away.
Now you got Jeremy in your head. You just called me Jeremy.
Oh,
That's
what is
rude.
your name again? Introduce yourself again.
Oh, it's Jacob.
There you go. We'll
Ah,
call
man,
you that
okay.
for a
Like
little
State
bit.
Farm. You know Jake from State
Oh,
Farm?
yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that's my cousin.
Yeah. Jacob Linn has brought in a
whole
pretty
bunch.
good sample of stuff.
So one of my favorite things to throw with 6 Sense is the prawn. It's for a creature bait. It does really well. And this is the backwater blues. That's a really good color for, you know, if you're fishing in some murky water. That does really, really well. But I wanted to, you know. Oh,
Let's see that.
Yeah.
That's what.
let's talk about the mag spoon.
If it's in a big package, it works.
Yeah.
Right. Is that how is that what the saying is?
Yes.
Out there on the
yes,
streets.
Yes. In freshwater, if it's
Yeah.
in a big package, it works.
There you go.
Right? But no, this does work. I've fished with one myself. It does work. This is the mag spoon, and if you like fishing deep or, you know, spooning for fish, I mean, this sucker will catch some toads. There's a lake, Fayette County Reservoir. And if you go out by the intake and discharge where all the fish hang out during the wintertime and you throw something like this, man, you'll tear them up.
You're hooked up.
You're hooked up all day long.
Let's show them this thing.
I mean, this thing is huge.
I think this is probably the best thing we've seen on Spooled Life Live so far. It's 2.5 ounces mag HD spoon by 6 Sense. I don't think you'll be able to find this here at Roy's Bait and Tackle, but
You find it online.
you could win it here at Spooled Life Live. One of y'all is gonna win. We got
That's a hybrid jig.
what do you call these things? These are
It's a jig, bro.
no, but what's the name of it? They're all jigs.
Hybrid jig.
No, but you call it
It's a mixture of a football and a swim jig. That's why it's called a hybrid jig.
I forgot what we used to call these things. Divine Hybrid Jig.
So that's a great jig, great color. And
Half
I brought,
ounce.
you know, I can't give away a jig if I don't give away a trailer to go with it.
Right?
So this is the Stoker Crawl, and this is green pumpkin juice. Real popular color, real good color. I mean, it does well in any watercolor, but that's a great combo. So whoever wins this, make sure you pair these two up. And then we got the Crush Flat 75X. You know, this is one of your crankbaits. This is a 2 to 5 foot diver. You know, I love it. You know, it's got a good vibration and looks really good in the water. And I've caught a lot of fish on this. Not this one, but the one in my tackle box I have. But then we got the 6 Sense. These are the Ned Fries. So this is a 6 Sense, essentially the wacky worm. And this is green pumpkin blue. Great color. This got a good weight to them, so it does, you know, if you're skipping under a dock, it'll get down there pretty quick. I mean, it's one of my favorite colors to throw. But
I'm gonna stop you real quick.
stop me.
I have a question. Will anything there work in the salt? It'll all work in the salt.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would.
If I've caught fish, it wasn't called a prawn. It was called a craw, kind of like a crawfish bait. But you put anything in front of feeding redfish.
They'll eat it.
Yeah, they're gonna eat it, right?
Especially go up in the shallows and the reeds and stuff.
Run it on the bottom of some marsh, right? They're gonna eat it, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a paddle tail, right? You're trying to get their attention. I'm hungry, you know when you're driving to Houston or San Antonio or making your way in from over there, you see a Whataburger that gets your attention, right? And you automatically turn off the road to go there, but they don't know what you're gonna order. right?
Right.
But you are going to the drive-thru, right? So it's you will have some problems throwing this
Yeah, that would.
in the maybe. I don't know. I tell you what, I'm gonna do something special.
What about by a rig?
If what?
If you went out by a rig with one of those.
Yeah, offshore. This might work offshore, but look at the size of the hook. This definitely be an offshore style bait.
I think we need a ram review.
Whoever wins and sends a picture of the fish they caught with this, we're gonna do something special for them.
Yeah, we should.
I don't know what yet, but we'll figure something out. By the time it gets to you and you get on some fish, we'll figure something out. We might bring you on the show or something. Jetty, this might be good on the jetty. We might get Mario Pettis to show us a little bit of some of this stuff on the jetties. 6 cents. We might have to start stocking them here at Roy's Bait and Tackle.
There you go. So, so these are some awesome things. Not that. These are the miniature stoker crawls, and these are the small ones. That so this is black and blue flake, and they're super small. They are, but I got my wife texting me on my phone. Honey, stop it! You distract me. My pea-sized brain can't handle that. But anyways,
It's multitasking.
yeah, I'm man. I can't do it. I'm like, oh my god, she's texting me. But yeah, any guys like throw a Ned rig or something like that. These little tiny baits right here, I mean, they would look absolutely great on a Ned rig, and they do work. I mean, they're phenomenal. Highly recommend them if you're throwing Ned rig.
Ned rig has been a big talk. If y'all listen to Christopher Bush from The Speckled Truth, he talks about using a Ned rig for sluggish, cold winter trout fishing. I think you had a podcast live session one time when I brought up the Ned rig amongst the freshwater guys, and they're like, oh, those things don't work in the saltwater. Don't ever use this in the saltwater. But they do work, guys. When you have a real sluggish fish that just doesn't want to eat, it's 30 something degrees outside, and that dude just doesn't want to move. He doesn't want to waste his time chasing a lively mullet. You throw a Ned rig and just sit it there, right? He's gonna go after the bait that's not moving as much, right? I'm assuming the Ned rig is a slow in freshwater. It's a slow type, maybe just working this lure with the tip of your rod instead of the whole rod. Just barely moving this thing.
It's a definite slow presentation.
Right. Go check out the Speckled Truth, who'll give you the whole details on using the Ned rig. And one of y'all's going to win this Ned rig stuff right here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple packages of Ned rig soft plastics for you.
Yeah, we got us another hybrid jig. What color is this one? Yeah, backwater special. It's a real good one for some dark, murky water.
I can't remember what we used to call these things.
Let's here's another big box.
Oh yeah, let's give them
box.
another. Let's give them another big item. If it's big, if it's in a big box,
It works, man. I'm telling you, it works. But this is a Clout 9 C25. So this is 6 senses, super deep, 18 to 26 foot diving crankbait. This is probably one of the best colors out there in my opinion. I mean, the blue true shad, you can really throw this in any body of water. Obviously, the right depth. Don't go throw this against the bank. I mean,
well, does it float or does it sink?
No, it is not. I don't believe this suspends. This will sink on you. It'll help you stay down there.
All right.
I am not. I have these, and deep cranking is probably not one of my strong suits. I will try it. I will do it if it's on fire. I'll use it. But I've thrown these. I have caught fish on them, but it's you got a sore arm the next day, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But, one thing that somebody told me once is when you throw that deep crankbait, put your kayak in reverse and back up and let the kayak, help you get it down there. But, yeah, the hooks on them are great. It gets down there, and it does a job.
6 cents puts a lot of detail into their lures. I'm seeing them here. And they've gone to the to the T with their nostrils on the fish,
And
right? Not just eyes. You know, it was a big deal when people started putting eyes on their stuff. But Sixth Sense, I don't know if you could see it. I doubt it. But if you can, you could see the nostrils they even put on this thing, and that is for not just for the fish to attack the fish. That the reason these lure companies put the nostrils on there is for the lure to smell where the fish are at.
that's right.
Right.
And that's that new research, that new science coming
Yeah.
out. That's impressive.
Here we go.
But another thing about Sixth Sense baits, the hooks on these things are ridiculously sharp. I've got scars all over my hands from hooking myself with those things.
All right, so I'm gonna let you continue, but first, the person that's gonna win this stuff, because we're running out of time.
Running out of time.
But I'm sure we're gonna get a couple. We're gonna take a little bit for somebody to win. So while we're waiting, we're gonna say all the rest
All
of
right.
the stuff. So the first person to tell me that gonna win all this stuff right here, right, is where. It's the big thing. Everybody's just waiting on their phones. You know, everybody's just waiting.
I guarantee Jeremy's sitting there like, come on, dude, say it already.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
go."
yeah. He's excited. Right?
Oh, yeah.
The first person to tell me where Jacob Linn was born. Right. And I already forgot. But we have Jacob Linn here, so we won't forget too far. Right?
Yeah, honey, you're not qualified.
Right. You cannot win,
Yeah, honey, you cannot win.
Mrs. Linn.
Yeah, she cannot win.
The Valley is not the correct answer. Let's go. Let's keep going.
So we got one of my favorite colors to throw is a June bug red. This is the Clout. This is Sixth Sense of stick worm. Absolutely love it.
We already got a winner, but let's keep going.
All right. And then last but not least, some green pumpkin shaky head worms.
I like that green pumpkin color. Say that 5 times.
Yeah, it's
Green
tongue twister.
pumpkin is I don't know, man. My lure selection, color selection, right, is I'll use dark colors in clear water, you know, and I'll use light colors in dark water as well. You know, everybody always says, man, you got to use dark color here, dark color there.
Not true.
You know, I feel it's several people have said it here on the show. It's what you have confidence in. You know what I mean? If you have confidence in this color, throw it. You know?
My confidence is either green pumpkin or black and blue.
Right.
I mean, there's a lake in Central Texas, Lake Belton, and when I say clear, it's like looking through a bottle of water, clear. But the fish will tear up black and blue on that lake. It is absolutely insane. Where you would think they wouldn't want a darker color. But who's our winner?
Austin Matthews.
Austin Matthews.
Austin Matthews is said New Braunfels.
Very correct.
And when he said it, I immediately remembered.
Yeah, New Braunfels, McKenna Memorial Hospital.
Man, that's cool, dude. So, Mr. Matthews, slide into my DMs as usual. Mr. Matthews is a winner on this show, man. He at least wins once.
All you got to do is pay attention.
That's it, man. All you got to do, guys, is join in on the fun. You know,
Yeah.
that's
The fun and shenanigans.
it's easy, you know?
Yeah.
This is at least $100 worth of stuff right here.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're gonna get. I'm getting that echo back. I'm getting that echo back here. You know, I'm getting back to the mic. You're gonna get this swag pack of 6 Sense lures, right? Check out 6 Sense lures at 6senselures.com. They were generous enough to throw this stuff, and my man Mr. Linn as well was generous enough to throw it in. So we got 2 winners today. Mr. Baker and Mr. Matthews are the winners. Both of y'all jump into my DMs and we'll get that stuff sent out to you. Well, what else, man? What else do you got for us?
Nothing, man. I mean, if y'all need to go on to 6 Sense and buy anything, use my promo code JOLD. That'll save you some money at checkout.
J-O?
JOLD.
JOLD.
Yeah, it'll save you some money at checkout. But thanks for having me, man. It's been a blast.
Man, dude, it's been...
I think I'm gonna be.
I think it was like I had an accomplishment.
No, I'm the
you on.
accomplished one here, man. I'm on the Spooled Life.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, this is epic.
If y'all are ever in the Corpus Christi area, cruise in to Roy's Bait and Tackle. Not only do we have everything, we got the stuff that works, right? Obviously. We got 6 cents for sure, right? We just gave away about $100 worth of stuff from 6 cents that will be going to Mr. Matthews. Share the show, guys, right? You know, invite your friends, invite your family, invite your tias, invite your tios. You know, we want to grow. We want to give away as much stuff as possible. We want to spread the knowledge as much as possible. We just cruised into the freshwater side of things.
You crossed over.
Huh?
You crossed over.
Yeah, it was like a little crossover album we just had, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna understand you very much, you know, but I mean, I think it.
Man, it's all fishing.
Yeah, I think it did, right?
Yeah, just freshwater doesn't burn your
right?
eyes.
It's water, right?
Yeah,
it's all water.
It's all water.
Let's give a shout out to your sponsors. Who are they?
So I am currently with 6 Cents, Kistler, and then if y'all, I'm telling y'all right now, if y'all need a reel, a fishing reel, go check out Kistler reels. And the rods. The rods are phenomenal as well. But yeah, Kistler's put together a phenomenal reel. I'm with Yak Gear, Railblazer, and who else? Ferris Realty he is actually Kyler Ferris is one of my best friends. He's actually the first guy who got me my first sponsor. And then Cross Kicks. If y'all need some water shoes, tell you what, man, Cross Kicks puts out a phenomenal water shoe, especially for us kayakers. But yeah, that's about
Hell
it.
yeah, some good stuff. Also follow the show sponsors: Roy's Bait and Tackle, Real Sportswear, and Carbach Brewery. And I hope I'm not forgetting anything else. I think we've touched base on quite a bit.
We covered a lot of stuff, man.
Remind me to take a selfie of each other. I always forget about that. I've wanted to get into the habit of you know, like a end of show post, right? Because most of them are just wording, right? Hey, thank you so much for being on the show, but I wanted to do a selfie kind of thing. I guarantee you I'll forget from now to the end of the show. I'll forget, right? So just remind me. I have a note right here, but I still forget, right?
Yeah, you do. And anybody watching, go follow me on Instagram.
There you go.
TikTok.
Where can we find you at?
It's at J Olden Fishing. Just go check it out. Got a lot of good stuff up there, and also check out mine and Levis's Team Havoc Fishing page at the Havoc Fishing Team. So go check us out.
Facebook?
Yeah, no, we don't. The Havoc Fishing Team doesn't have a Facebook. We haven't done that yet. We have Instagram right now, so go check that out.
Right.
And we're traveling the nation, doing tournaments. We head to Alabama next. We'll be leaving for Alabama in a week or so, and then after that we have shoot, where's the last one at? I don't even remember. But there's another one after Alabama. But and then the KFL starts. And the KFL is a kayak fishing league, and we'll be going to Alabama, Louisiana, Arkansas, all kinds of places.
Right.
So follow along for the fun and the shenanigans.
Hell yeah. We got another show. I don't remember the date. I know it's in about 2 weeks. It's gonna be a hell of a show. Right? When we got something special for y'all. Every show we try to bring something a little bit more power than the old. Not that yours wasn't powerful, but this next show, guys, this is gonna be a good show. I guarantee you it's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna call it. It's gonna be a trout show, speckled trout show, but I'm gonna call it a boiling pot show. And y'all are gonna see why here in a couple days, maybe a week, right?
Sounds
Just keep
good.
in mind it's gonna be a boiling, spicy, crawling show.
It's a lot of adjectives.
Yeah, so tune into that.
A lot. With
Somebody, one of y'all is going to be lucky. So thank you again. Y'all support does not go unnoticed, right? That's why we do the giveaways for you all that participate in the show. Like I said earlier, invite y'all's friends to try to grow the show as much as
Oh
possible.
my God, I forgot a sponsor. I just looked at my sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
Waterland sunglasses. To me, in my personal opinion, best sunglasses out there. Polarization on them is epic. But same code, JOLD. Use that at checkout and save yourself some money. But back to you, Ram.
All right. I'm more of a Maui Jim kind of guy.
Don't you have to like fish with your pinky up to wear Maui Jims?
What's that?
Those are like pinky up glasses, man.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, when you come into Roy's, this is nothing but high class. You know, nothing but carbach.
Carbach worthy.
You know what I mean? We eat tacos here. You know, we don't we don't discriminate. You know what I mean? Hey, but it's been a hell of a show.
It's been an awesome show. So
Let's drink to the awesomeness of this show.
it is awesome.
We're drinking to you all as well. Everybody tuning in. All right, we will see y'all next time. The flyer will go out here in a couple days, maybe by the end of next week. It's something to be excited about. I guarantee it. We will see y'all next time, and thank y'all so much. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. We will see y'all next time.
Adios, guys.